Russia built a digital wall so powerful it could shut down entire battlefields. And, for a while, it worked. Drones were blinded, signals were jammed, entire systems collapsed mid-flight. But now, Ukraine may have found a way straight through it. A drone that doesn't use GPS, can't be jammed, and might already be flying deep behind enemy lines. If that's true, it would completely change the balance of the war. But here's the problem. This drone might not even be real. In early 2026, reports started spreading about a new Ukrainian drone called the Sky Devil, a reconnaissance platform that couldn't be jammed, couldn't be tracked, and didn't even rely on GPS. If true, it would completely change the balance of the war. But when you start digging into where this drone came from, the story begins to fall apart. And so far, there's no confirmed battlefield evidence showing this system working as described. In the fog of war, separating fact from fiction is everything. The story of the Sky Devil is more than just a tale of new tech. It's a deep dive into open-source intelligence, battlefield innovation, and the high-stakes game of military disinformation. In this breakdown, we're not only going to analyze the technology that could make a drone truly unstoppable, but also investigate the origins of the Sky Devil myth and what it reveals about how Ukraine is really shifting the balance of power. On paper, the Sky Devil sounds almost unstoppable, a drone designed to survive in the most heavily jammed battlefield on Earth. But the deeper you look into its capabilities, the more it starts to feel less like a real weapon and more like a perfect story. Because according to the narrative, this wasn't just another off-the-shelf drone adapted for combat, but a purpose-built instrument of war designed by a previously unknown Ukrainian company called SkyAtom. The company and its drone would appear almost overnight, complete with a slick website and a list of capabilities that seem to solve every problem Ukrainian operators have faced. At the heart of the promise would be its complete resistance to electronic warfare. The battlefield is saturated with powerful Russian EW systems like the Krasika 4 and the R330ZH Zytel. These are mobile jammers that can create electronic domes, disrupting satellite navigation and communication signals over huge areas. These systems have proven brutally effective, with reports confirming their ability to interfere with and even disable GPS-guided munitions like high-tech Excalibur artillery shells. The effectiveness of some of these once-feared sniper shells reportedly plummeted in the face of Russian EW adaptations. Into this environment, the story would introduce the Sky Devil, a fixed-wing recon drone with a takeoff weight of just 32 pounds, about 14.5 kilograms, launched by catapult and recovered by parachute. It would boast an endurance of up to 4 hours in a range of 174 miles, about 280 kilometers, letting it loiter deep behind enemy lines. But the truly eye-watering claims would be in its payload and navigation. The drone would be equipped with a gyro-stabilized camera system featuring an incredible 80-time zoom, allowing it to detect targets from astonishing distances. 2.9 miles, about 4.6 kilometers, for its optical camera, and 1.5 miles, about 2.5 kilometers, for its thermal imager. And most critically, it would achieve all of this without relying on GPS. The key innovation, according to these unverified reports, would be a beacon-based navigation system. This would supposedly let the drone find its position by triangulating signals from a network of ground transmitters, making GPS jamming useless. This would be the game changer, a drone that could fly with precision through the densest electronic fog. To top it all off, the drone had supposedly received an official NATO codification, and serial production had already begun. Ukraine, it would seem, had just unleashed its ultimate reconnaissance tool. The story of the Sky Devil would be perfectly crafted, a narrative of brilliant Ukrainian ingenuity overcoming a formidable Russian threat. It's exactly the kind of story the world wants to hear. But for an open-source intelligence analyst, a story that seems too perfect is often the first red flag. And when you start to dig into the details, the flawless narrative of the Sky Devil and its creator Sky Atom would start to show cracks. The first red flag isn't the drone, it's the company behind it, a name that appears out of nowhere: Sky Atom. A professional website would exist, talking about a team of dedicated engineers with military experience. But beyond this digital storefront, Sky Atom would have no history, no public records, no established founders, no mentions at past defense expos. In a country whose drone ecosystem is famously collaborative and well documented, with established players like Vyri, Euchre Spec Systems, and TAF constantly making headlines, Sky Atom would seem to have materialized out of thin air. A new company launching with a supposedly mass-produced, NATO-codified super drone is highly unusual. This leads to the second, and most significant, red flag: the claim of NATO codification. This sounds impressive, suggesting a formal endorsement by the alliance. But that's not what it is. The NATO codification system is a logistical process, not a stamp of approval for performance. It's a bureaucratic system for standardizing parts and supplies by assigning a unique 13-digit NATO stock number to everything from a screw to a missile system. It's a lengthy process requiring tons of documentation. The idea that a brand new drone from an unknown company could get this designation almost instantly is, to be blunt, not believable. It appears to be a deliberate attempt to lend unearned credibility to the project. The final piece is the assertion of serial production. The drone might be listed on Brave One Market, a real Ukrainian government platform designed to connect defense innovations with military users. However, being listed on a marketplace doesn't automatically mean mass production. It can just mean a system is ready for testing. All the evidence would suggest that Sky Atom was more of a concept than a large-scale manufacturer. The perfect story was falling apart. What we were likely looking at was not a simple product announcement, but a masterclass in information warfare. Because while the Sky Devil might not exist in the form it's being described, something far more dangerous does. To understand the true innovation happening on the battlefield, we have to separate the phantom solution from the genuine breakthrough. The core challenge is Russian electronic warfare. Systems like the Krasuka 4 are highly effective strategic assets designed to jam surveillance radars and satellite signals, creating an electronic shield. Combined with other systems like the R330ZH Zytel, which specifically targets GPS, they form a layered defense that has profoundly impacted the conflict. The vast majority of drones depend on a stable GPS signal for navigation. Losing that signal often means losing the drone. This is the problem that needed solving. The Sky Devil story proposed beacon-based navigation as its magic bullet. And here, the myth touches upon a critical truth. Beacon-based navigation isn't a fantasy. It's a real and developing technology. The real breakthrough isn't coming from a mystery company. It's coming from a real Ukrainian developer, Vyri. In March 2026, just before the hypothetical Sky Devil story broke, reports emerged that Vyri had developed a beacon module for its drones. Their system works on a principle similar to GPS, but instead of using signals from satellites, it uses a network of small ground-based radio transmitters, beacons. A special board on the drone reads the signals from multiple beacons, calculates its position, and navigates accordingly. The operator can simply define a route, and the drone flies it autonomously without needing a constant GPS lock or even a direct link to the operator. This is the real game changer. This technology allows drones to fly through GPS-jammed dead zones. It's a direct counter to Russia's most effective electronic weapon. The CEO of Vyri, Oleksiy Babenko even confirmed the development, stating the goal was to create a simple, robust system, essentially a local, unjammable version of GPS. So why would this real groundbreaking technology from VRAI be co-opted and attributed to the fictional Sky Devil? This is where the analysis moves from tech to strategy. The Sky Devil narrative appears to be a form of psychological operation, or PSYOP. By creating a phantom super drone and loudly announcing it, Ukrainian forces could be aiming to confuse Russian intelligence, forcing them to waste resources countering a weapon that doesn't exist as described. It sows doubt among Russian EW operators and serves as a powerful morale booster. The Sky Devil story takes the real and perhaps still sensitive details of VRAI's beacon technology and wraps them in disinformation, protecting the real project while creating a strategic headache for the enemy. The investigation into the Sky Devil reveals a deeper reality of modern warfare. On one hand, you have the myth, a weapon designed to manipulate perception. On the other, the reality, technology that is genuinely changing the battlefield. The Sky Devil, whether real or not, still serves a purpose. In modern warfare, perception can be as powerful as reality. A rumored unstoppable drone forces the enemy to question their defenses, and that alone can shape decisions on the battlefield. But the real shift isn't the myth, it's the underlying technology. Systems like beacon-based navigation. By removing reliance on GPS, these drones can operate inside heavily jammed environments, reopening parts of the battlefield that were once effectively denied. And that forces a fundamental shift. Instead of relying on electronic warfare alone, defenses must adapt, falling back on traditional systems that are often limited and vulnerable. This is the real story. Not an unstoppable weapon, but a shift in how modern warfare is being fought. We started with the story of the Sky Devil, an unstoppable drone that seemed to change everything. But as we dug deeper, a different picture emerged. The Sky Devil, as presented by Sky Atom, appears to be heavily exaggerated, with no solid evidence supporting its full capabilities. Yet within that myth is a real shift. Technologies like beacon-based navigation are already changing how drones operate in heavily contested environments. And that's the real story. Modern warfare isn't just about weapons. It's about perception, adaptation, and innovation. Because in the end, it's not the perfect story that changes the battlefield. It's the technology that actually works. So what's more dangerous in modern warfare? A real weapon or a lie your enemy believes is real? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. This is the Warlines, and for more breakdowns that cut through the fog of war, make sure you subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell.